Have you ever been to Google News and found that your competition's news articles are there, but no matter what you do, you can't get yours there? Well, sit back and relax because today we are going to show you how you can get your news articles in Google News.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. And adding your website's RSS feed to Google News is really a strategic move that you can make to increase your site's visibility and attract more readers. Google News aggregates content from various sources to provide users with timely news articles and blog posts, but not just any blog post and not just any news. You might think that everything there would be automatic, given that Google's a big search engine and they go through everything, but that's not the case. Only vetted sources appear in Google News, and there's a process that you have to go through in order to get your site news there. It's a very good way to reach visitors being on Google News because they estimate about 280 million users actually use Google News for different things. They can sign up for different interests and different websites and stuff like that and aggregate all of their news sources in one place using a service like Google News. And so it's very important that your website take advantage of this opportunity. So today we're going to run down a step-by-step guide to help you get started. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you may miss out on some things because I'm going to say, look at here as I click here, and we're going to be showing some different links and stuff like that. Do reach out and to skyrocketradio.com, click on this podcast to get those links. But really, this episode is going to be best consumed on YouTube and on our blog post page at skyrocketradio.com. So check out the video portion of this. And hey, while you're there, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We so much appreciate that. All right, so let's get into each of the steps to get your news content on Google News. First of all, you have to begin by looking at your content and be sure that it complies with the Google News content policies. This is crucial because they will be looking at your content to make sure that it's actual news, that it's just not some willy-nilly website that's wanting to put information out there. It should provide original content following journalistic standards, including dates, bylines, author information, that sort of thing. You want to ensure that your content is timely, relevant, and valuable to your readers, because every so often they will go through, and just because you got approved today does not mean that every so often they will go through and check each of the feeds and be sure that each one of the articles maintains that level that it needs to be at in order to appear within Google News. Another thing that you need to do is you need to have site verification. Google News does not allow just any website to put Google News on their platform like this. You'll need to go to the Google search platform, and if you haven't already, verify the ownership of your domain. They will actually give you a little DNS entry that you need to put in your DNS for your domain. If you don't have access to that, or if you use a third-party service to help you with your website, then they will need to help you with that as well, because they won't have access to your Google account in order to get that information. All right, so you'll have to get the information from your Google Search Console and give that to them. Now, you'll want to be sure that you're all using a Google account that is tied to your radio station. So you don't want your website guy to be using his Google account, because what if he deletes his Google account? Well, then all your Google News stuff goes away as well, because it's all tied to an account. That's why you need to have a Google account tied to your radio station. So if the radio station gets sold or anything like that, you can just transfer ownership of that account. All right, so let's say that you go ahead and your site's already verified within the Google search platform, and that you're good to go. Now, before we jump into the Google News publisher platform, let's get a few things together. The first thing you'll want to have is a 1000 by 1000 pixel logo for the publication. So today we're going to be importing the content from our Rocket Daily News demo site. We're not going to keep it on Google because it is demo content, and we'll be lucky if it gets approved, but we're going to use it just for the demonstration of this podcast video. All right, so we'll have a 1000 by 1000 JPEG or PNG of the Rocket Daily News logo. Then we'll have a 1000 by 100 transparent PNG logo. You'll need a version for light backgrounds and one for dark backgrounds. So one where the text is maybe dark or colored, and then one where the text is white or gray. All right, so you'll have three images, that 1000 by 1000 logo, a 1000 by 100 transparent logo, and then a for light backgrounds, and then one for dark backgrounds as well. Once you have your site is verified, you're logged into Google, let's go ahead and jump into the Publisher Center of Google.com. Okay, here we are in the Publisher Center. Now, if you have publications, they will already show up here, but if you don't, you'll see the Add Publication button, and you can get into it. If you already have one, then we can come up here and then click on the plus by the other publications. Our publication URL is going to be HTTPS. Rocket Daily News. The location is going to be your home country. This is where the website is based out of. English, right? Certify, and then add publication. Now, it's going to, like I said, it's going to ask you to verify your domain. So you have to have that. It's not really going to let you go any further unless you have a verification. I'll say it'll let you go further, but because it gives you the option of doing this later, but it will not actually go out and reach out to your website and start pulling in that information until that verification process is done. If you can go to the Open Search Console and get the status of your site by clicking there, and then rocketdailynews.com, and this will check and say, okay, yes, you do have everything in place, you're good to go. And so come back here and then check verification. Verification failed. Go to Search Console and verify and try again. All right, so, and there's something up with the Publisher Center, and anywhere you go to, it will tell you that there are issues in it. And Google knows about the issues, but for some reason, they are very, very slow to fix them, because just like this, the verification failed. You saw just a second ago that it actually passed, but you will actually enter in something, and then it'll say, go to the next page, but the next page will be blank. So you have to refresh it. So expect there to be a little bit of hiccups and issues as you go through the Publisher Center. They're not making this easy for you. All right, so we'll click on do this later. We know that it's been verified. So let's go through each one of these. Now, each time you edit something, if you see a save button, click it then, because more than likely that tab has not been saved. And you can actually see the progress over here in the preview window. So let's click edit. The category for this publication is going to be, and really the only ones that news and politics. All right, there you go. So entertainment, news and politics, or that special interest. News and politics, that's probably going to be for local news. Worldwide distribution, and then allow all properties. Now, you would be tempted to click next here. If you click next, this information will not be saved. So click save first, and then click next. All right. Now it's saying here to go ahead and add a logo. Let's go ahead and do that before getting into the sections here. So let's add a logo, that square logo, that 1000 by 1000 logo that we needed to get before we jumped in here. Let's do that. A light themed logo that is going to be like during the daytime. And then if somebody has their night settings on, they want a logo that is white. All right, so for the dark background, let's choose that one. Now, as you see here, it says the dimensions they're recommending 400 pixels wide. But on larger devices, actually, you can see that these images are 1,000 pixels wide, but they're still a little bit grainy. It looks a little bit grainy here. And so if there was only 400 pixels, then it would be really grainy. And then on larger devices, it would be exorbitantly more, have more grain in it. So upload that 1,000 by 100. It has to be a 10-to-1 ratio. That's why the 1,000 to 100, not just any size that you want. And so be sure that that is not cut off. All right. So there's no save. We can add a point of contact here while we're in this screen. So let's go to info at, and if there's any technical issues, they can reach out to us, or product updates. We may want to know that. So, and then the publication URLs, that was already brought in from over before. All right. It says it was saved. Fingers crossed. Organizational details. All good. User permissions. That's all good. So let's go back. All right. So now that we're back in here, let's open this up again. It has saved our news and politics category, so that is good. Over here, we can see that we haven't added any sections, but we do have the logo that appears there. So let's jump into sections, and let's click edit here. Politics, content sections. Now let's go to sections. Now here you want to put a section in for each local category that you yourself and your team actually create. Do not put a section in for your national news that you import from ABC, your entertainment news that you import from Pulse Web content, or even state or local news that you import from somewhere within the state. The reason why is Google frowns on duplicated content, and there's a chance that that content could be in Google News or in other places where they were originally published. And if they are, and the review team actually reviews this and finds that, oh, hey, look, this website is importing this content, it's not actually creating the new content, it will turn down your entire application or your publication for that. So only put in a couple of categories and or sections, and only be the content that you and your team actually creates. Now for this one, we're going to do local news and local sports. So we'll do local news, and then we'll get our RSS feed. If you have a WordPress website, typically the main RSS feed for it is your domain/feed. And so that's good, but that feed is going to contain every category of news on your website. So that's probably not the best one. Now, if you only do a local news category and that's the only category you have, then go ahead and put in your domain/feed, and then that will be perfect. But for this one, we're going to do local, and this is just an easy way for us to get the address to that local feed is to right click on this, subscribe, and then hit paste. All right, so it's Rocket Daily News category, local news, and then feed. That's the RSS feed for that category. Yes, we want to have everybody have access to this. Click add. Let's go ahead and add a new section for local sports there. All right, and then click add. Access group, we want everybody to have access to it. And then you would be tempted to click next. Don't do that. Click save first. All right, and let's click next. And all right, it says here that we have 2 empty sections, and we see sections over here to the side, have our logo up here, and we don't have any content yet. Reload. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes for Google to process that you've added content. And so it will actually go through here and show the actual content of your feeds once it is gone out and grabbed it. But it hasn't yet, and it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes to do that. So we'll pause this, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. And while we're paused here, let's go ahead and click on the review button there beside the please review our terms of service, because the rest of it will not continue unless you do this step. So whenever you click on that review button, that link right there, a little pop-up will appear, and it will ask you for your name, your email address, and a little check mark to that you approve of the terms of service. The rest of it will go a little bit more smoothly. And we're back. All right, so it's been a few minutes. I went in here and refreshed. One thing that I found that kind of sped things along a little bit is I went back here to content settings and then clicked refresh here on each one of these articles. So if you do that, it may speed the process up just a little bit because this refresh here actually goes out and gets these. It may take a little bit longer if you just stay on this screen and refresh and refresh and refresh. But like I said, this Google News platform is kind of weird and wonky and does weird things. And so now you can see here, we have the Rocket Daily News and we have both of these things. This is ready to publish. And I have two tabs here, local news and local sports. All right. All my content there. And so now we're ready to publish. When you hit publish here, thanks, we've received your request. You can check the publisher back for updates. You can learn more about the publication status here. And so it will say that it will take 10 to 20 days for the publication to be reviewed and approved. Typically, it takes 4 to 5, maybe 6 or 7 days to approve. But once you're approved, then you're in. But you do have to wait on that. It also says that they're going to send you an email whenever it's ready. They will not. They will send you an email if there's a problem with it, but they will more than likely not send you an email at all. You'll just have to come back here every so often and check for the publication status. This is in review, and so it will look for the publication status. I'm actually going to be removing this because I don't want the demo content to be appearing on Google News, but so I won't actually pause this again and wait 10 days and show you that. But just to let you know, it's going to take probably about a week for the process to be approved. But once you're approved, then you're in. Some words of warning here. Just because we've got our site approved within the Google News platform, it does not mean that we're going to appear better or more than our competition, because pre-2020, being on the platform meant that news articles would rank in Google News. But every site that follows Google's content policies can now rank within Google News. All right. That means that it really does mean that the sites that have been there longer will go ahead and rank higher than your content right now. But don't count on that as that's just the way it is. It will change as more people interact with your news stories on the platform. All right. So maybe put a link in your header to the Google News platform to kind of increase that engagement for a while. Don't keep them on your website. Maybe actually send them to Google News or promote it somehow. It's really going to come down to SEO, making sure that you've taken every precaution to ensure that your content is finely tuned to SEO. You're using keywords. You're putting tags where they need to be in their images and through so many times throughout the content and that sort of thing. It's good to use a plugin that kind of gives you a score, kind of helps your team realize, okay, like we use Yoast SEO, and we use that because it gives the page a score, and then it tells you why it didn't score so high. Maybe you didn't use the keyword so many times, or you didn't use the keyword within a header, or you didn't add any images within the article, or you didn't link out, or you didn't link in. And so it gives you scores, and then it tells you why. And then after a while, looking at those, the reasons why you didn't get a good score, then your authors can start, changing their mindset. Oh, I know I need to put this keyword within a heading, and I know I need to add an image, and I know I need to link out somewhere else because that helps. And so it kind of changes the mindset. So plugins like Yoast SEO, and there's some other SEO plugins out there that you can choose from, but they all help the authors become better at SEO. All right. So really, the better at SEO you are, the better you're going to your site is going to perform within Google News. So it's not just being there, it's actually outperforming your competition there as well. And if you outperform them there, you're going to outperform them with your website as well. And you'll be able to go back and check Google Analytics, so you'll be able to see how your content is doing. So some tips for success: regularly update your site with new and engaging content. Beat your competition at that, not just stuff that you're importing. I'm talking about the stuff that matters, the stuff that is only available on your website. If you can beat them at that, then you beat them. Optimize for SEO, use relevant keywords, follow SEO best practices whenever you can. You can easily beat your competition at SEO. All you have to do is do the right things every single time. And then engage with your readers. Encourage comments, interaction on your articles to build a community. All right, so follow these steps. Add your website's RSS feed to Google News. That's going to increase your site's exposure and potentially drive more traffic to your advertisers that are on your radio station website. Now, remember that the key to success on Google News is to maintain high quality, engaging content that adheres to their specific content policies. If you check all those boxes, then you're going to see your site engagement increase and hopefully your revenue increase as well, because that's what we're all about, increasing the engagement and revenue. Hopefully these tips have helped you. If they have, be sure to share this content out with your radio colleagues, like, subscribe, do all of the fun things that you should when you see great content. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.